As they say in Germany, willkommen. I believe that is welcome. I took 4 years in high school and 1 semester in college. Thank you very much. It's day, I guess if I was really speaking German, I'd say day 105 sieben or something like that. 175 days in. And yesterday we left off at the go-kart track, and that's where we're picking up today. Spoiler, I either skipped day 176 and didn't record it, or I don't have the file. So tomorrow will actually be the next day for you Back to the Future fans. Okay. So I was working on this line of Holly's, not a retort, but what she says in response to Jake telling her that he is majoring in criminal psychology. So I sort of genericized her line, and again, from that Jake gleans that maybe Holly speaks from experience, and Holly comes back with the old double question there. What makes you think I'm involved in law enforcement my first 3 years? So that's, again, it's one of those Hollywood lines. I shouldn't say Hollywood. I'll just say movie lines, because Hollywood is a disenchanting place for reasons I won't go into, but that strike very close to home. Ask me in the comments what I'm talking about, and I will let you know. Originally, I had the loser answering 2 questions, which I'm not sure why I had that, but I switched it to 1. Again, so it gives it a little bit of stakes. You know, they always say raising the stakes, ticking clock, good news, bad news, etc. And not that it's huge stakes, but it gives us a little bit of intrigue. And if you haven't read the script, if you are watching the movie for the first time, you don't know how that race is going to turn out. You might figure rightly that Jake is not going to be victorious because he's not really bragging and, grandiose, but he has that thing about the pink car. So then after the race, we know what happens in the race. So what am I changing here? So Luke staying on, I'm trying to keep Luke, and I certainly won't be able to do this throughout, but he's either kind of cracking wise to some extent, or he's on this, not really conspiracy theory, but of course it turns out to be the truth, which is sometimes the case in real life. Again, no comment on what I'm talking about. So Holly gets a call, and obviously the timeline has been moved up, so they've got to hustle over to the cabins and go ahead. Who is she talking to? The kid's turn as Holly returns. It's so funny. I've mentioned this before, of trying to get rid of the word turn and the word look whenever possible. And then you end up with a bunch of like swivel around, wheel around, jerk around, or you have like gaze and glance and glimpse. And, it's just, I guess the alternative is just not putting in those directions at all. But then, so then the question is, will the audience, the reader, know who the character is delivering his or her lines to? And sometimes it's apparent, sometimes it's not. And so if it's not, you either always have to put, Lexi, and then underneath in parentheses to Holly, or you've got to write a line of action that sets it up. So either way, the reader and ultimately the director and the writer and the actors know what's what. So that's one of those things where, you could literally just write look the whole time and turn. And Does it affect the script? No. Does it affect the story? No. Does it mean you're a lazy writer? Well, in some people's eyes, which is why way back when it was probably like day 100 or something, I spent literally 3 or 4 hours going through the script and taking out as many looks and turns as I could. And I don't know if that's a fool's errand or not. Okay, let's see what's going on now. We're still having racing. To where? See my mom, Lex, you don't have it. It's fine. The sharp person, I haven't seen her in 12 years. And then I think, I was not paying attention, but I think that line of Luke's may be new and hopefully humorous. And later I have a line not similar to that, but kind of the same thing where it's like literally right on the nose, but because it's delivered in such an unusual, I guess, or unexpected way, and it's so direct that hopefully we can get away with it. And then if you can, it solves a lot of problems. So right there on page 35, we've got like boom, boom, boom in about 4 lines of dialogue. A bunch of stuff comes out, which is probably better than, trying to dance around it and draw it out, especially because we're basically a third of the way into the movie. So now when Jake asks if he can go with her, with Lexi to meet her, it kind of makes sense, especially Holly, he has his reasons. And Lexi, of course, doesn't know what they are necessarily, but, and it could be, and it is really a double reason. He wants to see what kind of lady Rachel is, if she's some nutcase or exactly what. I just want to make sure. Okay. Or, and he's also starting to like Lexi already, obviously. So he's got two reasons in one. Not sure what to think. Can Jake ride with us? So that, the gang is all together, which at this point is no big challenge in terms of believability because, well, the audience might know danger is afoot, but certainly they wouldn't really. And I don't think that Holly thinks that it's any big yank if they go either. So I'm still working on this. Only for a second. See, like, it's just so hard when you are writing this and hearing it in your head to know what, if anything, you need to add in terms of action/direction for Luke, or if you just bypass that and go right to his line. He has his reasons. And here I had to get the just for semantics, or not semantics, but logistics, that she has to be, they've all got these leather jackets and stuff. And so you even, as a writer, you say, do I even need to include that petty stuff? But then someone might say, well, you really need to describe exactly what the audience is going to see, and it has to make logical sense. And they're obviously not going to walk to their cars with their helmets and stuff on, or, holding on to them. So I deemed it necessary. And that gives them a little physical business to do, and gets the message. So I think in this case that works out well. All right, so we've got them all set up. Here we go in the Jeep. I wonder how they would film this. If I was filming it, how would I film it? These days, I think they still do most of that on green screen, blue screen, but sometimes not. I'm still waiting. Oh, So I've got that. I think I'm trying to get that he has his reasons closer to the end of the scene because Holly. Surprisingly, yes. I don't know if that line's needed, those two lines, and you're okay with that. Surprisingly, yes. I don't know. I'm right on the fence on that one. But originally, I think I was trying to get that he has his reasons closer to the end of the scene because Lexi. All right, so I changed that, and now he's told Lexi, basically, in a way, given her the reason that he wants to go, or at least a justification for it, and. So I kind of like this. Both set of eyes in front of him. That doesn't make any sense. Both sets of eyes in front of him. I need to fix that. So he is, he is sort of going to practice profiling, or even though he doesn't come right out and say it. And I don't know about that. I understand why I wrote that, but I don't know if a poke face. Oh my gosh, I got so many grammatical errors in there. Something funny. This is sort of exciting and suspenseful, waiting to see if I'm going to change this dialogue. Oh, there we took care of it. It's still in prison. Oh, wow, it snuck up on me. The day is done. Gone the sun. We'll see you tomorrow.